Hi guys, it's SimLicy here. So welcome to another apartment renovation. So today I am renovating this apartment, which is one of the Medina Studios apartments. This is where Salim Banali lives, but I kicked him out and decided to renovate this apartment again. I know this is one of those apartments I've renovated a number of times, but I don't think I've ever done this like exact layout before. I've done similar layouts, so don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit different, so I'm kind of excited. But anyways, I hope you guys do like this apartment. I had a lot of fun decorating this one. It's a small 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and I decided to decorate it for a very young couple and their toddler. So I was thinking that they were teenagers, maybe just out of high school or almost to the end of high school, and for whatever reason they were able to move out of their parents' house. Maybe their parents made them move out, depending on kind of what storyline you want to go with and how strict their parents are. But yeah, I thought it'd be kind of a fun idea, since I have done a teen parent apartment before, but that was just for the like mom teen. And so this time I wanted to do it for a couple. And yeah, I wanted to go for something that was a bit more rundown looking. I mean, I didn't want it to look dirty or messy, but I wanted it to look on the cheaper side, and I wanted it to not be as put together and like overly decorated with a bunch of fancy artwork or like all of the nicest things. So hopefully you guys kind of get the idea and see what I was going for here. But I really enjoyed decorating this one. I just wanted it to feel really lived in and kind of cozy in some way, just a nice, very small family apartment. And here you can see I am cluttering up the kitchen. I really had fun picking out decorations to put here on top of the refrigerator. I do end up going into the debug menu and pulling out a package and some like a bag of coffee or something. And yeah, I think it looks really good up there with the cereal box. And other than that, I do clutter up the counters a little bit. I do leave the counter to the left of the stove empty, just so you have somewhere to like actually cook on, because instead of putting more counters next to the half wall, I decided to put the dining table here, and I think this actually looks really nice. I was looking at some reference pictures of some like, I think it's just concept art for maybe cartoons or just artwork in general, but I've found some really cool pictures and I really love the art style. If you guys happen to follow me on Pinterest for whatever reason, I do have a board on there called Cartoon Inspo, and none of my boards are that organized. So if you do go there and try to find inspiration pictures, I do have various different topics, but sometimes I pin things that don't necessarily fit the certain like name I've titled the board, but something in the picture makes me think of it. So sometimes it's a bit confusing, but my cartoon inspiration I think it's really cool. Like I love the art style of a lot of the different pictures, and I'm hoping that maybe in future Sims games like The Sims 5 or something, we continue with this like kind of cartoony looking style, because I really don't think I would want like a super realistic looking game. I don't know, because I actually really like alpha hair and stuff. I think is really pretty, and some alpha-y like furniture pieces look okay, but I don't think I'd want like a super realistic looking game. I don't know. But either way, I've almost finished the kitchen area. I did clutter up the table with a few different decorations, some coffee cups, just to make it feel just slightly more lived in. Again, I didn't want it to feel messy, so I just was more going for that lived in look. And then here I'm switching up the wallpapers. I was going for this base game wallpaper with the tile that goes like halfway up the wall. I like that wallpaper, I like the tile, but I don't really like the color options for basically the part above the tile. I wish it came in more varieties, because I can't really find anything that matches it perfectly. And the one that I found was similar to this color, but it was just so overpowering putting it all over the apartment. But this one with the wainscoting on the bottom just kind of balanced it out for me. So it still kind of gave that appearance that I was going for, but it wasn't so pale peach colored everywhere. So hopefully that makes sense. But here's going to be the living room. I really like the living room of this apartment. I think it's so cute. I used these couches that came with my first pet stuff, and I put 2 of them together to look like an L-shaped sofa. I think this couch is perfect for like a teenager or young adult Sims apartment, because it looks like it might be on the cheaper side. Like you could buy it and maybe like you could buy it, of course you could buy it, but you could buy it like disassembled and it comes in the mail, and kind of like an IKEA couch or something, and you got to put it together, and maybe it's a little bit like creaky or something, like it's not made out of solid wood or something. Not saying that IKEA stuff is like that because I don't really know. I don't have too much experience with it, but I do want it to look a little bit cheaper. And then I also put a box of toys in here with a little bear chair, which I thought was really cute. And again, I used this TV that came with Tiny Living. I know I've probably overused the stuff from Tiny Living, but I love it. I almost wanted to use the couches here, but I resisted and used some different couches. But I'm just really happy with that pack and still really enjoying the objects that came with it. So yeah, I just had to use the TV. I actually finished another apartment where I use it there too, but yeah, it's actually 2 different apartments, so I only use it once and I don't use it in the other apartment, so maybe it kind of balances itself out. But over here I decided to put a bookcase, and I did have to push it into the wall slightly, but I still think it looks really good, and I find a few decorations to clutter it up with. And then here on the coffee table I have a pen, a remote, and then also a stack of homework, because I did imagine that these kids were still in school as much as possible. I mean, they could still be out of high school and then maybe in university or something, but they're still teenagers, even though it doesn't work that way in the game. So, I mean, maybe you could play with young adults and pretend that they're still teenagers. I don't know. It's totally up to you guys, but if you do want to have a teen become pregnant, I believe you have to do that with cheats, but it's still kind of a fun storyline to play with. But over here next to the entryway, I do have a coat rack, a backpack, a bike, just kind of like entryway stuff. And then here I'm using a side table and I merged this shoe rack into it. I recently got this tip from one of you guys and I thought it was such a good idea, so I definitely had to try it out, and it looks really good, especially in this color swatch. They almost go together like perfectly. And then here I'm placing a bulletin board and I fill it with a bunch of postcards just because I thought it was like a really fun way to add some like clutter and decoration. I know I use the bulletin board a lot, like almost every single build I use that bulletin board, and it's just such a nice way to add extra clutter and wall decoration without adding like a fancy painting or something. But over here is going to be the bathroom. The bathroom's a bit of a narrow room and it has all of this equipment in there, like the breaker box and the pipes that are going to break, and your Sims are going to have to get to them to fix them. Otherwise, it's going to cause all kinds of problems. Basically, they're just going to be very uncomfortable all the time if you don't fix them, and they're going to complain about it. So I didn't want to cover those up. And yeah, your Sims should be able to get to them perfectly. I have done bathrooms similar to this layout in this apartment before, and I have had no issues with it, but I think it's a nice simple bathroom. And then over here is going to be the bedroom. So the parents are going to share a bedroom with their toddler. And here in a moment, I do move that walk-in closet that I have next to the front door. I move it over slightly so there's like a little nook for the toddler bed, and it's so cute. I create like this whole little toddler corner, and I think it just looks like absolutely adorable. And I did think about putting a wall here and then putting a curtain to kind of separate it off, but I didn't exactly like the way it looks. I mean, the walls in here are so tall, and I think if they weren't, maybe I could have used like a different curtain, but then I was like, maybe you really wouldn't want to close the curtains because you'd want to be able to keep an eye on your toddler. I don't know, so I decided not to, but I really like the way that corner turns out because I put this shelf above the bed and I end up cluttering it with a bunch of different like toys and some debug objects like books and things, and it just feels so personalized and really, really cute. And so yeah, here you can see I'm placing the shelves here. I do end up replacing these 2 pictures that I have above it for that one single picture of the dinosaurs, the longer one that we have from base game. And I think that looked a little bit better than these ones. For whatever reason, I wasn't really liking these. But here you can see I'm placing some toys. I do end up placing, I think, a building block and a stack of books and a rubber ducky because they're super cute. I sized it up and it's so adorable. And then next to the bed, I also have some more books, another little building block, and then I think I put like a stuffed animal, I think I put next to the books. But either way, I really like the way this whole corner turned out. It's so cute. And then here I did think about using those shelves that I am so obsessed with. I actually used those in an apartment recently, I think the last apartment, and I mentioned how I didn't think they were base game, and so many of you guys commented and told me that they were actually base game shelves, and that is so cool because they're probably the best shelf that we have in game. At least, well, maybe not the best shelf. There's a lot of really nice shelves, but it's super cute. And it's really nice to have something that adorable a part of base game. But either way, that's it for the toddler's corner. And then here I'm just going through and placing a few decorations around the parents' part of the room. And then we are coming up on the screenshot. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this apartment for some teen parents and their little toddler. And I hope you guys do enjoy the screenshot. So thank you so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
They were in high school when they met, and things got kinda awkward. With sparks in the air, he would stare at her in class, and she would try to act cool. But it was obvious, like, ooh, they would be together, ooh. And one day she said, write me a love song, 'cause I know you'll make it beautiful. And maybe I'll call you my sweetheart, and promise nobody can steal me away. Then I am yours, 'cause I want you, and I wanted you to know. He looked at her and then he smiled, picked up a pen and paper, started